expert on butt enhancement procedures. So you know that many women are looking to have a curvier, bigger bottom.
Yes.
And sometimes exercise, you can't really get that sculpted bottom with exercise. So butt enhancement procedures have become more and more popular.
Yes, they have. Yeah, buttock enhancement is really popular now, Amy. And you know, because of what you said, it's really hard to achieve the roundness and volume that you want with just diet and exercise. And also there's a lot of movie stars now, right, who are very curvy. You know, Kim Kardashian gets a lot of attention, but J-Lo and Beyonce all have very curvy figures, and so it's become very popular. It's a growing part of our practice for sure.
So unfortunately, some unethical healthcare providers are taking advantage of people who are looking for the cheapest method to have a butt enhancement procedure. And sadly, a woman in California just last week passed away after having a butt enhancement procedure with silicone injections. Can you tell us more about the dangers of silicone injections and why we should stay away from them?
Well, there are lots of scary things, unfortunately, going on in the world of aesthetic surgery. And there was an unfortunate death of a very young 22-year-old woman. She actually had children in Southern California last week. But believe it or not, this is actually happening here in Central Florida too, Amy. Last year there were a couple of women who wanted an inexpensive method of buttock enhancement, and they had a very similar experience. There was a doctor in Tampa who was injecting silicone that he purchased basically at Home Depot into women's behinds. And there were two women in Tampa, one who died and one who had kidney failure. So these things are going on here right under our noses. And it just really should highlight to people how important it is to make sure that the procedure you're about to have isn't only going to give you the appearance that you want, but that it's going to be safe too. We don't want you to end up in the hospital or dead, you know, just because you wanted a bigger, rounder bottom.
Do you recommend or offer a safer method of butt enhancement procedures?
Absolutely. There are two methods for buttock enhancement that are safe. One is buttock implants. They do work very well. They're not perfect and they won't last forever, but they do give you a very nice improvement in shape and definitely in size. And my favorite procedure right now, which is the Brazilian butt lift. And that allows us to liposuction fat from areas of your body that you have fat and you don't really like it, like your stomach, your waist, your love handles. And then we take that fat and prepare it so that it'll survive in its new area, and we inject it into the behind. And so that gives you a simultaneous improvement in your belly, your waist, your hips, and in your butt. Because it's your fat, it looks like a butt, it feels like your butt, it moves like a real butt, and it's permanent.
And how can someone be certain that they're seeing a board-certified doctor?
Well, the important thing is that you ask the surgeon, are you board certified, and then ask them in what? Because there are unfortunately lots of people who will tell you, yes, I'm board certified, but what they're not telling you is that they're board certified eye doctors, or they're board certified gynecologist, or board certified internal medicine doctor. For this kind of thing, you know, this is surgery, and it's plastic surgery, so you really want to be seeing somebody who's board certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery. You know, so ask them, you know, which board certified you. Ask to see the certificate. You know, I have a certificate that says the American Board of Plastic Surgery, and I would really get that specific.
Yeah. And do you have any more advice for someone who's looking to have this done?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same advice that I give people whether we talk about facelifts or tummy tucks, liposuction, or buttock enhancement. And that is, you know, you want to ask some very important questions before you let somebody do any kind of surgery on you. You want to ask, you know, are you board certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery? You want to ask, do you have permission to do this operation in a hospital? Because if the doctor has permission to do that same operation they're offering you in a hospital, you can rest assured that the hospital checked the doctor out and made sure that he or she had training to do that surgery before they gave him permission to do it in the hospital. If the doctor says, well, I don't have permission to do this in any hospitals, then that's when you might want to consider going somewhere else. You also want to ask about where it's going to be done. You know, even if your surgeon has the appropriate training, You wouldn't want the surgery to happen someplace where you weren't going to be safe or where there weren't sterile conditions. So you would only want to have surgical procedures done in an accredited operating room. Our accreditation is by the American Association for the Accreditation of Ambulatory Surgical Facilities. It's a national organization. They do a great job of making sure that operating rooms are up to appropriate national standards. And then finally you want to ask, who's going to be monitoring me while I'm sleeping or while the anesthesia is doing its job? We have a board-certified doctor of anesthesiology here at Aesthetic Enhancements, but even if it's not a board-certified doctor of anesthesiology, you want to be sure that it's somebody who's trained in anesthesia and not just the doctor's nurse or the doctor himself doing the anesthesia.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Soto. I had no idea that there was so much to think about before actually having the procedure done.
Well, it's important to know that you're going to look the way you want, but you're also going to be safe, right?
Yes.
And that's the important thing to remember, because a lot of times it's easy to get really excited about how good you're going to look, and you forget to ask the questions that are going to keep you safe.
Yes.
So both things are equally important.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure.